through this process that you take your clients on, I mean, it's a pretty detailed, iterative. It's a process, but the steps and how you pull those out and how you can break it down. What are some of the other tools? Because you guys have an amazing art background. So, is there other forms that you guys use to explain the build to your clients?
We use this 3D BIM model called Revit.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I know the dimension, overall dimension, if it's renovation or something, I know the footprint of the house.
Yeah.
So I may make that portion with the model, but then at the beginning, it's almost like a bubble diagram.
Yeah.
So start kind of doodling on the paper and then use a lot of tracing paper, And then it's just it has to be fat pencil.
Fat pencil.
Mm-hmm, not thin ballpoint pen. It's just that's the feel of how you can kind of create the space. And it was funny because when we were in graduate school, AutoCAD came in.
Mm-hmm.
So until then, we were learning inking and then stuff like all hand drawing, axonometric drawing and all the stuff with hand.
Yeah.
But then AutoCAD came in and we were required to buy a laptop.
Yeah.
And of course, professors are not equipped to those things. So in the studio, this guy showed, not printout, but on the screen, I did this. And then the professor suddenly put the laptop screen down and put the tracing paper over it. It's just that kind of era that we studied. But it's just a pencil, like a hand drawing, this movement, everything. It just stimulates your brain.
Yeah.
So we use both.
Both, yeah.
Because they're both essential. Like the computer-aided design can do these amazing things, produce these like 3D renderings that look like real.
Yeah.
They look like reality. But then on the other hand, like there's these, just very analog sort of tools like pen and paper that are so essential to just get your brain going, right? To get, it's really like whatever we need in order to convey the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're doing CAD and then Revit, and then you're doing your 3D renderings and modeling in Revit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and using Enscape.
Enscape.
Enscape is a plugin, sort of, for Revit.
Almost like a photographic rendering.
I saw some of those.
Yeah.
That's
that works well with Revit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, you can really make it look realistic that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, we don't want to have to spend like tons of hours making something look highly realistic all the time. In fact, like a lot of times with a client, it's actually better to sort of let it look sketchy.
Yeah.
To see so they don't feel like we've fully designed something that is not malleable or that's not editable or changeable.
Make them feel locked in.
Yeah. So sometimes we'll even have a computer model and, propose the different options in the computer model. But then if we printed that out, it looks really official. It like almost looks like a construction document.
Yeah.
So we'll actually take it and make it sketchy.
So
that it feels loose still, so that we can still kind of be kicking around brainstorming ideas and not get locked in.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's funny to go back and forth a little bit.
Any other forms that you guys use to express your designs throughout the process?
I'm building an actual physical model right now out of cardboard.
Oh, that's a little old school. You're not doing sculpture clay?
No. No clay.
Yeah. No, I've seen some of the 3D printed, houses. I look at those and you're just like, okay, you can pick it up and turn it, but it's still just a piece of plastic.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. Yeah.
But we encounter clients who have hard time reading 2D drawings.
Yeah.
And then for those people, Revit is very efficient. That it's different from 2D AutoCAD. That it's a real computer model, 3D model. So we create construction documents with it, but also we cut section anywhere, and they can see it. But even section drawing is not really comprehensive for them. So we create actual perspective view, put the camera in the model, and then and then sometimes add a little bit of ambient shadow so they can see what's there. And then that's helping for some people to visualize.
And with renovations, we're also using this technology with LiDAR scanning. We've been using a couple different platforms where you can LiDAR scan, and it takes a point cloud of the existing structure.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, and then it can be transferred into a 3D digital Revit model for us. So like we have a renovation right now that has these like kind of very detailed coffered ceilings and tons of built-in cabinets, and they're going to make some changes, but not everything is coming out. And so we really like need to know like where does the coffered ceiling, like how does the grid of that align with whatever we're designing over here. And so to get the point scan for the 3D Revit model is so essential, because then we can, shoot.
Drop it in.
And start to propose the design into that, and then shoot like perspective views within that are really, they really helped a client to understand what the space is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, for so long we haven't had these tools, right? Except for the hand sketches of, and some perspectives, and now you got all these tools. Some people are like, that I don't understand how to visualize even the 3D stuff. Just give me the 2D. So all clients are different. Right?
They are, yeah.
They're just like, oh, and I think it comes down to as well trust, right? Do you trust the people that you're having design your home and work with? Because if you have the design and you trust them, it's kind of like, I don't care what format it's in, because I trust you.
Right.
That's the biggest tool that you guys have, that an architect can have, because it's really hard to say, here it is, but it's trust. So we
try to show it to them as much as possible.
Yes.
I also hope that they will trust us, that the things that they didn't see or anticipate are going to be okay. But as much as we can get in front of them, that they can see it in advance, we try to do that.
Yeah. Because it takes a lot of time to do the interiors on those Revit designs, right? And so it's how much time do you put into that versus actually doing the design work and selections and site layout and stuff like that. I mean, it can be kind of costly, but some people really need it. So.
Yeah, and some houses really need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Using the LiDAR on the renovations that's a great idea.
That's been a game changer for us. Really huge.
And it saves your measurement time. It's just quick, and you're like, okay, we're in and out, and then go back and study it on the computer. That's pretty
But we
cool.
do measure critical dimensions just to make sure the model is accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I still have to site measure on a remodel from the architect's plan.
That's right. Then you have to measure it again. There's a lot of measuring that happens.
just to make sure. So that's fun. It's funny. I recently had one of our clients on, and he's like a VP at Trimble, and they own SketchUp, right? So he was kind of like, SketchUp's the way to go, man. Like, no more of this Revit stuff. And, there's this little internal battle between architects and which is better. And
SketchUp is good, but the Enscape is like real.
Yeah.
So you can fly through, and you can convert it to this file. I can't remember the name.
So you had a client.
Yes. So I made this SketchUp model for them, and then created the MP3 file, so they can just open and see all the fly-through of this one project. That was a new build, so they had no idea what to expect. So
that's pretty cool.
That was the client's wife's birthday, so this is a gift for you.
There you go. That's fun.
And then another, I just remembered another cool thing that we've been doing is you can generate like a little bit of a fly through like that, or even like a panoramic view, or even just like a sweep of a view, and then generate a QR code that can go onto like the construction set or
way.
onto like a schematic set or whatever. And so if a builder is looking at it and they're just looking at the drawings or whatever, but they want to sort of see like what the materials are, what the intent is or whatever, they can just like scan it with their phone like they would a normal QR code, and they pull up like this image that they can even sort of scroll around and sort of see the ceiling and see the floor and see the see to the sides. Yeah, It's very cool.
That would be great, because even the 2D construction set that we get, and there's times like, okay, that's why we wanted to look at that one project in Twin Motion, because I'm like, this thing is too big for me to visualize. Like, I need to see it from all these different angles, and there's so many layers behind walls in 2D, and being able to do that would be awesome. In the field? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so that the tile installer can just like scan it and be like, I can see right here where like what the tile looks like,
Oh, that's okay. That's going to be my new requirement for all my architects.
Some of them aren't going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's okay. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what is it that you guys feel really sets you apart?
I think we just love our job. That sometimes we call it architecting, that we can't stop designing. And then, so that's something we can't charge this part, and then we subtract from our invoice. It's just that
don't say that on the show. We don't want people to know.
But it's just that we love it.
Yeah.
And then we love working together, because it's just what I like, what she likes, even food too.
Yeah.
And then it's just almost like a business partner who's not married, but like a married couple.
Yeah.
It's just we work so well together.
I don't know that all married couples work well together, so that might not be the right terminology, but no, it's you found
or
your
twins or whatever you call it. It's just that we understand each other so well, and then it works.
But it's a shared philosophy, really, about like what, kind of like, I think we have both a pretty strong conviction about like what is like what's a good life, and we're trying to craft that for other people.
Yeah.
Like how do you sort of design for happiness, like true actual happiness, and so I think that like under all of it, that's the sort of like thread all the time, is that like we have a certain vision of like what constitutes a good life, and how can we create the ingredients in a house that will cultivate all of those things for the people that live there, the people who visit, the people who live outside of that, like the community around it, and aim towards that all the time. And also remind each other that that's what we're aiming towards when we somehow get off track every once in a while, which we occasionally do.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun, because I want people to hear what makes you different, So, because I'm sitting here and like, what constitutes a good life? That's perspective, and so it's understanding what that perspective is of your client.
Yeah.
And really, honing in on that and sticking to it.
Yeah. It's so important that we are not just designing a house that people just live there, but we want them to be happy in it. Not just the functionality, but aesthetically, that we really thrive for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If there's a client that, makes kimchi.
Yeah, let's figure it out.
I love kimchi.
Yeah.
We love kimchi, and has a garden and that's part of what they do. That's their hobby. It's one of their passions. It's something that makes them, whole. Then that's the kind of thing we also love to design for.
Totally.
But also, speaking of kimchi, I'm from Japan. I came here as a junior at CU, so I was adult when I was drinking age. So I know Japanese architecture.
So did you start drinking?
I was drinking before that. But we have another person who's from Japan. She's an architect from Japan too.
Oh yeah.
So we don't have a style, but if someone's looking for something more, Japanese style, we are totally capable of designing that too.
Yeah, it's kind of like that Japanese Colorado blend that you
It
guys
is.
talk about. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, and I think it is like, it is good to have that international perspective in residential design, because I think that, you know, I work with designers that are fully American, and, you know, they don't get to travel the world, and it's kind of like this recipe of design, not necessarily, oh, let's get cool. Let's bring it to life. I just recently got back from Amsterdam, and I went in some of these shops, and I was with an interior designer, and she was like, oh, look at this French country thing. Wouldn't this just be awesome in this project type thing? I'm like, you know, you just see things that you don't when you get that cultural diversity. So that's pretty amazing.
Absolutely. That's definitely one of the reasons that we sort of formed the company. It was so that, like, this live-work balance, we were so busy at the firm that we were at previously that there was no time to really sort of like take in the inspirations that you need as a designer in order to sort of stay fresh, you know?
Yeah.
And traveling the world is one of those things, but even like just exploring what's around you, going to all the kind of cool places to eat, or like being able to hike in nature and reminding yourselves of, like, you know, what's there. But like traveling abroad is hugely beneficial because you just see things in a different way.
Yeah.
And then when you come back, you see things in a different way that you normally do. You're like, well, and it gives you a different perspective on so many aspects of design. Yeah.
I like it. I kind of want you guys to come and consult on interior design for my house, because we haven't done anything in a while, and our kids are getting older too, have flown the coop, and kind of sit in my basement like, oh, this place, we got to re-envision this. It doesn't feel good. You know, I'm like, I want it to feel good, so I have to have you come over and
for the next stage.
Figure it out.
For the next era.
So, that'd be awesome. So, what are you guys hoping for in the next 5 years? You know, like just with your practice, with what you guys want to do.
Yeah, I'm hoping to design lots of houses for a diverse group of people, and to be constantly challenged with new things, and so that it stays interesting and fun.
And not overly busy.
That's important
not
too.
overly busy.
Yeah.
So we may become a little more selective.
Yeah.
But I think because we are a new farm, almost going into third year, just two of us. And then I think finally we feel that some of the repeat clients are coming back. Like we used to design, even from old office, we designed for these people, and then they wanted to renovate more, but they want to make sure the theme is same.
Yeah.
And then, so, you know, they approach to us.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's just adding more the connection like that would be great.
So, Kate, tell me a time that you had to think outside the box to solve a design architectural problem that made you feel like, man, I'm good because I was able to solve this. But it stretched me.
Yeah, in renovations, we see more problems. It's not really design flow, but the surprise.
Yeah. When
you open the wall in the demo phase, and then we see a column or something. Yeah. And then we sometimes have to move opening to different location, but that will become domino effect that things have to change. But it's not really scary, but more like sometimes when it becomes code issue, that's another challenge. But I love code, and yes, I do love code. I'm a nerd.
She's strange like that.
Yeah.
So I like to think through, and then, you know, all the logics and stuff. It's just a design plus something, you know. It's not just a figure, but we have to know all the code too. And In new project, it's not a really design problem, but we had this one project, new build of mixed use of business office and then the client's residential above.
Oh, yeah.
It was in an open field in Aurora. And then they had huge bike path next to it, like a park.
Yeah.
And then on the west side, it has just a view of the mountains, And then the client wanted to live there as a forever home.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to see, the rain's coming from that direction.
Yeah.
And then, but with the bike path and then all the views, everything, it's just that we wanted to capture everything.
Uh-huh.
But in tasteful way,
Yeah.
Not just a big open windows or anything like that. That was challenging, but
and they wanted to sort of an approach into the residence that was a little bit hidden, very secure. It was in an area that was sort of like up and coming, but it was sort of set in this field, so it needed they were worried a little bit about security.
Right. So we created this a hidden entryway,
sort of meandering entryway up to the second and third.
But still,
floors.
it's very dramatic for them to enter.
Yeah.
With the light coming in, and it was just a.
And you're having to figure out a couple different codes because you have the commercial on the bottom.
Right.
And then you're like, if we put the bathroom on the residence and they got 3 bathrooms, how do we get that through the commercial space? And
Right. The egress and stuff was
different
a
uses.
big thing.
Yeah. That mixed use can be challenging. Absolutely.
Yeah, and then that since the residential was above the commercial, they had no direct access to the ground or to the earth outside. They had these amazing views, expansive views, like 180 degrees to the mountains. But we wanted to have a little area that was planted. So we had in the center a courtyard surrounded by the residential nature of the house, where an actual tree and some
Really?
and a garden could occur in the center.
That's
South
pretty
facing, so it's sunny and.
Yeah.
Who figured out the drainage for that with the commercial below?
Kay was working on all
We
of
were
that.
using MEP too.
Yeah.
So they
But-
took care of it.
Yeah.
That was a commercial project, so we had all the engineers with us.
I was like, that sounds like a little complicated thing to put
right.
an open courtyard in the middle of commercial.
3
above.
sides were glass, so they could see the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What about you?
Well, we worked on that project together.
Yeah.
I loved that project. Yeah, I mean, I guess that every project has its out of the box moments.
Yeah.
And we're trying to focus on residential stuff now. But the project that actually comes to mind is this project I did a long time ago actually at Rose Medical Center. We did the new baby where the new babies are all taken to the nursery. Yeah. And the nursery, of course, has to be completely secure now. And most babies are kept in the rooms with the parents. They're not really released to the nursery as often anymore. But we really wanted to make it this special thing to be able to come and see the babies at the nursery, but also have them be very secure. And so we had designed into the wall these glass sort of portholes with these little bubbles in them, so that it sort of looked like you were looking out into, into a little ocean setting or something, and all the little babies in there. So that's one idea that pops to mind. It's just trying to find really creative ways to address whatever the design question is.
Yeah, or the design constraints.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
So let's get in a fight here. What's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal?
You guys order it. You order the same thing all the time.
Same thing.
linguine.
We
Linguine.
often order the same thing.
Often
Yeah.
the linguine. What was it?
Vongole.
Vongole. Right?
We love oysters.
Oh yeah, we have a sort of tradition to try to eat oysters on Fridays.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So we, so 8 of 8 girls from architecture school.
Yeah.
We're so close together.
Yeah.
And then so we, since graduation, we've been traveling together every 2 to 3 years,
Yeah.
different places. And then we really, when we sit down and talk, it's all about design.
Yeah.
You know, we're like a nerd, right?
Nerd out.
And then when we went to New Hampshire, we were looking at oysters, and then that's when we found out, oh, Tamara loves oysters, like as much as I do.
Well, I don't like oysters, so you guys can have all my share, okay? Don't ever feel that you need to save one for me.
They're like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But all shellfish probably
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
something that unites us. But yeah.
So who makes the best linguine Milanese?
Tamara's Italian, so most probably she does.
But Kay is an excellent cook.
Yeah.
Excellent cook.
When I was in Japan, my school was in Tokyo, right behind this good pasta restaurant.
Yeah.
And then every time I ate something new, I wanted to try that. So Saturday lunch was always pasta for my family. And
Italian style pasta?
Mhm,
Okay.
And they were poor family. They had to try everything I experimented.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love cooking pasta.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What restaurant around Boulder County has the best linguine?
Oh, now you're going to cause a fight with the Boulder restaurateurs is really what.
Let's go.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
You can say one. You get to pick one.
Boulder County, right?
Boulder County.
I really don't think I'm allowed to say because my husband's in the wine industry and all those people are his customers. So if I say one over the other, it's going to cause a problem.
Okay. Kay, what about you?
I like Parma's,
Oh.
but I like the one we went last time too.
Is
Bu-
it
Buccini's?
No, Buccini's.
Buccini's.
Yeah.
Buccini's
That
in
was
Lafayette.
good.
That was good.
Yeah,
That was.
yeah.
That was
A lot
fun.
of garlic, a lot of
Yeah.
clams. The pasta has to be al dente.
Yeah.
So DeGabi has really delicious clams, but you have to order the clams and the pasta separately, and then
Okay.
you have to put them together yourself at the table.
Why is that? Pro tip?
It's just that's how it is on the menu. It's like it doesn't come as linguine vongole. It comes as the clams, and then the linguine is side linguine. So I do that pretty often. That's delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also love mushroom pasta.
Yeah.
What was the name?
We even blew off work a couple Fridays back to go mushroom hunting.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
there you go. Be in,
We didn't find anything, but
be in nature. You went hiking.
yeah. We were hiking.
Yeah. When I do go hunting, but I don't really go hunting. I go hiking because it's usually just a hiking trip. 'Cause
Yeah.
I usually don't get anything.
Right.
Right.
That's
So,
right.
But I like being out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too.
So,
I do too.
well, if you were to take your spouses to a nice dinner in Boulder County, what restaurant would you take them to?
Well, I love the Brasserie 1010. And during COVID, they were shut down for so long.
Yeah, Brasserie 1010.
The Brasserie 1010, yeah, it's on Walnut Street,
Okay.
downtown.
I haven't been there,
Really?
and now I'm gonna have to go try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been around for a while, but during COVID, they were closed. And it's really just it's my favorite go-to.
Yeah. That's
They have
awesome.
oysters, too.
Yeah. Oh. What about you, Kay?
My husband is a steak eater,
Uh-huh.
but he also loves Japanese style curry.
Oh, yes.
And then he loves chicken katsu on it.
Okay.
So I think he'll go for chicken katsu curry over steak dish. So first place that he tasted that dish was at Sushi Tora.
Okay.
And then, of course, that place is gone now, but the chef is still running another restaurant, Tasuki, in Boulder.
Tasuki in
Yeah.
Boulder? So that's where you'd go on a date night with your husband?
Yeah, sometimes. And then, but they don't have curry on regular menu, so
Okay.
we have to tell him we're coming
Ask.
on this day.
Oh, okay. So he has it ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
That is also an excellent restaurant.
Yeah.
Very
Wow.
good sushi.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not as enlightened as you guys on the nice restaurants. I'm going to have to go try these. So
Food is really important.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It's just like good architecture, right?
Yeah,
It's
good
gotta be
food.
good.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
culinary and cuisine is very, very important.
Right.
Yeah, maybe we should change the quote to good food of any kind is a result from a series of actions that follow a process. We like to think of food as a verb rather than a noun. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah.
I'm enjoying our conversations. I've enjoyed meeting you both, and I want to give a shout out to your neighbor, Justin, for introducing us. And
Yeah, thanks, Justin.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
Yeah.
I look forward to, we work with so many different architects and designers in Boulder County that I know our paths will cross. And but I want to thank you for coming on, telling your story, telling us what makes you different and your process. I think it's brilliant. You talked about ingredients, and even your vocabulary isn't architectural. It's artistic all the way through, which is cool. I like that. And I just really appreciate you guys being on the show today. So,
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
tell me how people can find you.
So we can be found on Instagram at kata.by.design.
Cool.
That's our handle. And then you can find us at our website, which is www.katabydesign.com,
That's awesome.
where you can reach out to us with an inquiry. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be awesome. We'll put that up, and we'll get some people reaching out to you. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we
Very
really
nice.
look forward to it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks.
Thanks for listening to Built by Insights. Tune in next Friday to hear more stories with a new guest.